Chapter 22, the sun has the power to divide. In mathematics, division is defined as an operation whose function is the inverse of multiplication. And the sun has the power to multiply his kingdom, and the sun has the power to divide up the kingdom. And the signature of multiplication is a cross, and the signature of division is a line called a vinculum, and the factor above the vinculum is the numerator, and the factor below the vinculum is the denominator. And vinculum is the Latin for bonds and for chains. For the kingdom is divided by bonds and by chains. For the numerator are the number who are bonded as his servants. For the time shall soon come to reward your bondservants, the prophets and saints, and those who fear your name, the small and the great. Revelation 11 and 18. And the denominator are those who are chained by their sins. For they are those who dwelt in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in misery and chains, because they had rebelled against the words of God and spurned the counsel of the Most High. Psalms 107 and 10. For the power of the Most High has divided from the beginning. For from the Garden of Eden the Creator divided the rivers. Genesis 2 and 10. And from the Egyptian shore the Lord divided the Red Sea. Exodus 14 and 16. And from Elijah's mantle the Lord divided the Jordan River. 2 Kings 2 and 8. And we give thanks for his loving kindness to him who divided the Red Sea asunder, for his loving kindness is everlasting. Psalms 136 and 13. And the Lord commanded his people to divide up their gifts. For the Lord commanded his people to divide up the land. Exodus 12 and 4. And his people were ordered to divide up their debts. Exodus 21 and 35. And he ordered his people to divide up their bread, to feed the orphans and widows, to shelter the weak and the homeless, and to clothe the poor and the weary. Isaiah 58 and 7. And his people entered the land and were commanded to divide up the land. Joshua 18 and 5. And they were commanded to divide up the spoils. Joshua 22 and 8. And his people were warned, it is better to be humble in spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Proverbs 16 and 19. But his people were not humble but proud, and thus his words were fulfilled. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My desire shall be gratified against them. I will draw out my sword, my hand will destroy them. Exodus 15 and 9. And the Son of God divides man against man. For the Son did not come to bring peace, but division and strife amongst men. For as he said, do you suppose that I came to grant peace on earth? I tell you no, but rather division. From now on 5 members in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son and son against father, mother against daughter and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. Luke 12 and 51. For division is derived from the Latin word die, which means two, and vision, which means see. For some have been given vision to see, but others have kept their eyes closed and remain blind. But blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. For truly I say to you, that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. Matthew 13 and 16. For many would see the works of his hands, yet divided they remain to the truth. John 7 and 41. And through his death on the cross, the veil was divided into two. Mark 15 and 37. And the day will soon come when the king shall return, and he will divide the booty with the strong. Isaiah 53:12. But the walls will divide the profane from the holy. Ezekiel 42:20. For as the prophecy says, leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations, and they will tread underfoot the holy city for 42 months. Revelation 11:2. For the day will soon come when the spoil is divided. Zechariah 14:1. And the servants will give praise in his presence, and they will divide the spoils of the earth. Isaiah 9:3. For the spoils of the earth is the oil of man's sins, that shall burn in the fire of judgment. And the Lord shall divide the spoils with the nations. Ezekiel 47:13. And he will make them one nation in the land on the mountains of Israel, and one king will be king for all of them, and there will no longer be two nations, and no longer be divided into two kingdoms. Ezekiel 37:22.